So a few weeks back on my YouTube, I had created a video on how you can potentially earn 10 lakh per month by working on your side hustle and ensuring that eventually your side hustle can be your main hustle. And from that, a few of you who have watched it, they asked me that, hey, we'd like to know more about this, that how exactly it happened that after your MBA, you came to at this point wherein you could cultivate your side hustle into a full-time hustle, and why is it and how is it that you were able to leave your full-time job after MBA to build a side hustle of this sort. It is exactly what I will be speaking to you about in this particular video of mine. Hi, I am Darpan Saxena, an MBA graduate from IIM Udaipur, and let's get on with the video. This will be a 3-part series in which in the first one I will be explaining to you about my own story in brief so that you know that what exactly has been my journey. Then in the second one I will be explaining to you more about the financial aspect of this, that how can you evaluate it for yourself, that how do you financially see that whether you can quit your job or not. And in the third part I will explain to you that if you are someone who wants to really start it off, and if you find that yes, you are at a place where you can start this off, then what will be your first steps and what needs to be your mindset for it. Now, my objective here is to give you a complete idea of my story, that some of you may know this thing, that I have a speech problem, I stammer. And I was at a point when my MBA at IIM Udaipur had just started and I was a first year student. I was at a point that because of my stammering, I used to think that how will I even find a job? For me to even enter a school was a struggle. I finally was able to be at IIMU after a lot of struggles, after being through a lot of interviews, and finally I was able to be at IIMU. And since then I had this impression that, hey, how will I find a job? Probably it will be impossible for me to find a good job from here. And from there my story is that I was able to get 3 job offers even when my placements had not started. And from there, while I chose one of those job offers, how from that I could even leave that job and work on my startup Super Heuristics full time. That is what the story is. Those of you who want to know that where exactly I used to work after my MBA, I was the product head of the MBA test prep products at CL Educate, and you can know more about me on my LinkedIn. What you need to know about my story is that when I was in the first year of my MBA, I had started off my blog. And each week I used to create good long form articles on my blog. And slowly my blog had started to spread across all the MBA schools in India. And when I was towards the end of my MBA, I knew that yes, I can earn something from this. And while I was in my job after MBA, I had also started to earn from the blog. Now, what I would share upfront is that what exactly is the formula. A very simple formula, a very simple heuristics, a thumb rule which I used to find out that, hey, whether should I leave my job for my blog, for my startup or not. And this very simple formula which I used to evaluate that if I should leave my job or not is that leaving a job is a simple mathematical equation. It is as simple as that. A lot of my friends, they say to me that, hey, you are so courageous that you were able to make this kind of a switch. But my answer to all of them is that no, it's not about that. It's not about how flamboyant I am, or it's not about that how I was able to take this extremely difficult step. No, it was a simple mathematical equation. And that is what I would want to inform you, that if you are somebody who's probably at that stage as of now, or who wants to be at that stage where you are planning to leave your job for a side hustle, or if you're creating a side hustle and you have this thing that, okay, will I be able to leave my job or not, then you should know that this is a very practical thing, that your leaving a job is about a simple equation. And what exactly is that equation? That equation is that I evaluate any outcome, any career outcome, as the sum total of what is it which I am finding from it financially, socially, and emotionally. So any job or even entrepreneurship or even self-employment, you need to be able to clearly break it into what are you able to have from that in terms of finance, in terms of your social interactions, and how does it affect your emotions. That's it. So this financially plus socially plus emotionally is the equation with which you need to evaluate whether you need to change your job role or not. And I would be explaining about it now, that what exactly I'm trying to say about all of these things. And if you're excited to know about it, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you can watch more of my content. So when I'm saying financially, I'm simply implying that financially, the financial outcome from your job or from the entrepreneurship which you are trying to do, it is basically the sum total of all the income, the perks, and how much you are expending, how much is your expenditure. So that is how you will evaluate that what is your financial outcome from a job. And then in the same way, you need to evaluate that what is going to be a financial outcome from the side hustle which you are trying to create or which you have. So again, it is about that how much you are able to earn from it, subtracted by how much you have to spend in order to do that job. So for example, if you are in a job, your expenditures are probably the traveling expenditures, which you may not have if you are self-employed, or if you are starting up, you will be able to have it from home. So all of these things are there. Then I would speak to you about what is socially as a outcome. Now when I'm saying socially implies two things. That one, how much is your social interaction with others, how much you value it, and how much is your social learning, that how much from those interactions you are able to learn. So these are the two things which you need to see, that okay, in your job, what are the kind of people you work with. If they don't seem to be the ones from whom you are able to learn a lot, then probably you would not value your job as much. And then it's also about who you are. So say suppose if you are a complete introvert, then probably you don't value your social interactions at all, and hence probably for you, being a self-employed person is going to be far more attractive, is going to be far more valuable. So that was the social aspect of it. And the third aspect of it was the emotional aspect, that how are you feeling, how are you experiencing that particular outcome from your MBA. So if you are in a job, how do you feel in that job each day? And as opposed to that, if you are a self-employed or a freelancer or an entrepreneur, then what exactly is it which you will feel? So these are the three things which I evaluated, and from these three I could feel and see for my own self that no, for me, working on my startup, which I had already started to earn from, that was a much more smarter thing to do, and it actually turned out to be a very good step, in fact, because after switching from that job to this, to my own entrepreneurial venture, and frankly, after switching from my job, I was able to do much better financially, socially, and emotionally. Hence, that was a very simplistic way of how I evaluated it. Like, for example, this gives me the kind of work which I do now. It gives me the freedom to choose the kind of work which I am interested to do, to choose my own clients, and to also use my own strategies and to learn the strategies from others and to implement it onto my startup, onto my blog. So that was the end of the first part, wherein I've shared that what was my story, that how I was at a place where I was stammering at my first year at IIMU, and I was not even sure that how will I get a job. And thanks to the side hustle which I created, I was not only able to get job offers when my placement had not started. However, I was also able to build my side hustle to a stage wherein I could work on it entirely, and I was doing far more. I am doing in a far more improved way than I was working at my job. And I hope that you have understood the simple formula, the three things which you need to see for you to evaluate that if you should be somebody who should quit your job or not. And if you're excited to start your own side hustle during your MBA, then my community 5 steps ahead, my courses 5 steps ahead are the best ones for you to get the complete understanding of how you can start a side hustle from the things which are happening at your MBA and use your skills, use your MBA knowledge to build a side hustle, and then probably be completely dependent on it. I would share the link to join my community down in the description. I'll see you in the next part of this. Thanks a lot and goodbye.